and welcome to another Battle Games in Middle-earth video here on YouTube. I'm Harry and thanks for joining for a very, very special, if albeit slightly rushed video, because this is the last night before the first tournament I'm playing in gosh, it must have been months. At least 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, nearly a year. And that was the first one in 6 months. So it feels like it's been so long since I've played in a tournament. So I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do a kind of virtual video Entmoot podcast. If you listen to my Entmoot podcast, you'll know all about the kind of vibe. I go to tournaments, I talk to people, and we enjoy and soak up the atmosphere of what I love about the Middle-earth strategy battle game at tournaments. So that's what I'm going to do today. But first, I've got a couple of guys to finish off. Essentially, I'm doing a very special thematic evil thing that Will Champion gave me an idea and I launched off from. But I need to paint Rohan Thistlewood and Bill Fernie. I think it's the other way around. Bill Fernie and Rohan Thistlewood. So I think that means I need to get moving and crack on, because it's the night before and it's tradition, so let's get painting. So that's exactly what I did. With panic-inducing speed, I set eyes upon these two wonderful ruffians and started working. Painting with Dark Angel's green and Charadon granite and all sorts of sort of earthy tones, I set about painting Bill Fernie and Rohan Thistlewood for my evil Fellowship of the Ring. The kind of theme idea was, you know, that we want something that's evil that maybe goes and finds the ring from Frodo in Bag End. Rather than sending the 9 ring wraiths, Sauron sent them on some other important mission. We send these evil guys, this collection of assorted heroes, onto a mission to get the ring from Frodo, or from the box that he's keeping it safe in for all that time. So that's the kind of idea. So to do that, we've got to paint up some ruffians, some evil hobbits, and of course put them alongside some of the greatest heroes of all Middle-earth, on the evil side, of course. And also, it happened to be a great opportunity to paint up some of these ruffians that I've been painting for my Ruffian Painting Challenge. I'm painting 1,000 points of ruffians in a year, and I know I haven't posted an update in a while, but I'm definitely still working on it in the background, and there'll be some updates at some point, probably after my tournament in July. So, lots to do, but these ruffians actually already taking shape after many, many hours of painting. I think this was 2 hours, and then a wash, and then a break. And then here they are, looking absolutely glorious. We've got Bill Fernie on the right there, and I managed to squeeze in the painting of 2 hobbits in the middle there. We've got Lotho Sackville Baggins and Ted Sandyman, as well as Rohan Thistlewood there on the left. Well, it wouldn't truly be the night before the tournament if I wasn't finishing at, about quarter past 11. Not bad, actually. Usually it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Either way, I've got my little ruffian guys done, and I'll show you a showcase of the rest of the models, and then I need to get to bed because it's going to be like 9 o'clock in the morning start, so that's 7 o'clock up, driving. It's going to be a long day, but I can't wait to get back to the first tournament in ages. So let's take a look at this rogues gallery. We start with Amdo and the 2 hobbits, Lotho and Ted. Then Gandalf stand in Dwymmerlake, with Suladan and Gothmog being the main hitters in the force. Then the 2 ruffians standing in for the other 2 hobbits. And of course, Vrasku as well. You can't leave him out of the bargain. So we pack all the guys into a nice foamy case, along with 9 objective markers and a cheeky little imp, because this is a special tournament. This is Rings of Men, which requires all sorts of special little objectives and lots of different fun, themey ideas, which I absolutely love. 7th City Collectibles in Nottingham, the home, of course, of Middle-earth strategy battle game and Warhammer in general. Off we go. And a trip to a tournament wouldn't be a trip to a tournament without a full library of SBG books, as well as a few other essentials, especially during these crazy times. And we're heading off. Got my door closed. To the first Warhammer tournament of the season. I can't wait. some questionable singing, and an hour and a half of driving later, I arrive at my destination, 7th City Collectibles, and opposite me are Knights of Dol Amroth. We play a unique scenario involving the capturing of hostages, which we've had to provide, and I instantly get stuck in with my heroes straight into the Knights of Dol Amroth, and of course shoot the horse from underneath Prince Imrahil very early on, and then later on surround Imrahil, slice and dice him with everyone and take him out. So, game number 1, it's gone quite well for the Evil Fellowship. Jack playing with, I think it's Knights of Minas Tirith, not Knights of Minas Tirith, Knights of Dol Amroth with Imrahil and the Forlong. How did it go, Jack?
It went badly.
Yes, it did. Yeah, 12-0 to the Evil Fellowship. It's going well.
There we go, a match-up formation.
A not so favourable matchup follows against around 50 warriors of Arnor, Arvidui and Malbeth in assassination. I choose to try and assassinate Malbeth with the Dwimmerlake, thinking black darts are a good idea, but then later on get surrounded by lots of Arnorians. It doesn't end well for the Evil Fellowship. Second game. After a 12-0 victory earlier on, not going so well, it's fair to say. Andrew, what were you playing with?
It's 15 Warriors of Arnor, the King, Malbeth, and then 2 captains and a banner.
And we were playing Assassination. So, interesting one for this. You chose a captain to assassinate my Hobbit hero. Don't blame you. And I chose Dwimmerlake to assassinate Malbeth. I thought that was a good idea because he might not be in combat. I did manage to get 1 black dart through, but Malbeth's save failed, and ultimately 50 defense 6 guys with a 5+ save overwhelmed my 9 heroes. So didn't go so well for me. What was the score?
It's 12-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good game.
How do you feel it went?
Quite good. Yeah, good. I mean, there was not. The whole plan was just basically just throw men on top of you and just hopefully you don't kill enough before I can kill all your guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not going so well, but hey, I've got a 12-0 win and a 12-0 loss, so we'll see how it goes.
You're on 0.
While my table group of 6 decided how to divide 28 sandwiches between the 6 of us fairly, I thought this could take a while. So I took a tour of the tables at the Rings of Men and the 7th City Collectibles here in Nottingham, and seeing some of the armies on display after so long is so amazing to see all these in different places. Obviously, I had to wear a mask as I wandered around as people were finishing their last games, but it's a delight to see people rolling dice like this and to see people having a laugh, having some fun, and just generally enjoying themselves in such a way after so long. A wonderful, wonderful tournament to be had. We see some Corsairs there, some Trolls. Wander over here to see some beautiful Rohan Palisades and a nice little village in there as well. Such a variety, including these slightly evil-looking Hunter Orcs and Mordor army, as well as some beautiful, beautiful Rohan and some delightful spiders. Look at them, and also some fantastic-looking hobbits here. Fantastic stuff. The variety on offer at these sorts of tournaments is amazing, and I think this is one of the things that I find so inspiring about coming along to tournaments and you know, competing against lots of different people, is that ultimately we're having such a great time, we're enjoying seeing each other's armies, and we're competing at the game. We're having a bit of fun, rolling some dice, and seeing what sort of crazy creations everyone comes up with. With that in mind, we look at an absolutely gorgeous army of the Nazgul of Dol Guldur, with a little sneaky keeper of the dungeons in the corner there. Slightly different conversions as well. Really, take an eye on that Witch King there with the original Crown of Angmar. Fantastic idea. But the game doesn't end quite so well as I would have hoped, with Gothmog and Amda losing at the last moment. So game 3, it was my Evil Fellowship against the 9 and the Keeper of the Dungeons. We've got Nathan here. What did you think? Dol Guldur, how did you fare? How do you think you fared?
Yeah, no, went perfectly. Sort of at the beginning, I sort of had the idea of splitting the 2 Abyssal Knights either side, so to get the objective, and then run in my next priority phase, sort of dart across the board and join his brother in a sense, and then just run up the side of the board, and then the Lingering Shadow already had one of the objectives, and his special rule allows him to move up 3 inches before movement, so he's then 6 inches after that. So them two were pretty much off the board, and then it's just a slog in the centre just to try and get the other objective. And it went pretty well, savouring might, and ended up with a 12-1 win.
Yeah, it didn't go so well for me, but I think you did some really great plays actually, and isolating my elven bladed hobbit, killing him in very quickly to make sure that I didn't use the elven blade against the Nazgul, and also the Dwimmerlate didn't do what I hoped he'd do. He sent about 3 or 4 black darts, and they failed to do any damage, which I think was a bit of a relief for you, Nathan, wasn't it? But either way, it was good fun because it was nice that I wasn't being surrounded by hundreds of Arnorians or something similar, and I'd imagine you felt the same, not having to fight up against a huge horde. So it was nice. A 12-1 loss to me, but we enjoyed ourselves. 2 evil kind of bands of warriors against one another is always a bit of fun. So that's game 3. On to game 4. So in the early stages of a capture and control scenario, I made some positioning errors, it's fair to say. Launching forward and spreading out my troops was a bad move, I think, because as we look over the Rohan rooftops, I ended up getting completely surrounded, leaving Gothmog and Suladan only in the final throes of the game, and that's not going to end well for either of them. So we're on game 4, the final game of Rings of Men today here at 7 City Collectibles, and I've got Matt wielding. We've got, as you can see on the board here, we've got a few guys left, but actually they've just died. I've just put them back for pictures. But Matt, you had the Rohan guys. What did you think of the match? How did you think it went?
It was a little scary at first because you took down quite a lot of riders in a couple of turns, but as soon as Gandalf popped his sort of ultimate ability, which is part of the Legendary Legion, I think it's called Look to the Sun or Look to the Rising Sun or something, which is like a whole shade effect. That was when things went all downhill for the Evil Fellowship.
Yeah, it wasn't great, and I think I split on my troops as well, and they all kind of got a bit lost and on their own and things like that, which definitely didn't help. But it was good fun, and as you say, they actually did really well in that one turn. I think I almost broke your army in one turn, which was pretty impressive. But in the end, it was another 12-0 loss. I mean, I managed to get something, but it wasn't good enough.
Everybody's fine, oh yeah.
We'll get over it. But either way, there you go. Another successful game for the Evil Fellowship. Not really. An early night should have been had, but it didn't. But then on to day 2 with wonderful, beautiful elves and a fellowshipy type army to face against in the very first game. I thought, hey, I might be in for a chance here. It actually went really well. We're on game number 5 on first day after a night on the tiles. Well, not quite. We're playing against Aidan and his beautiful Fellowship army. Aidan, first, what did you think of my army when you came up against it?
It was a nice match-up. Pretty much all hero versus a lot of heroes in the Fellowship, so lots of might flying around. I knew it was going to be interesting, especially when Suladan's got his mighty hero, so it made it very dangerous.
Yeah, we've got this special rule where themey and silly armies get a sort of special rule, and I got Mighty Hero for Suladan, which is pretty top-notch stuff. But it's been great fun actually having coming up against a really themey army like Aidan's, and beautifully painted as well. Just made a nice start to day number 2 in pod number 4, because we're down in the doldrums really, but it's good fun playing up against some themey guys. I will.
Hello.
The next game was probably one of the closest fought games of the tournament, using just the weight of dwarves against my opponent. You'll have to find out more in the Entmoot podcast, but here's a tease. Amda doesn't make it. Then in the final game, up against the Knights of Pelennor again with Éomer and Gandalf. This time I had a bit of a better shot at it, playing very cleverly to use the gaps, but still, we'll have to find out exactly how it goes in the end, but these shots may be a clue.
Woo! Thanks everyone for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. It's always great to see Middle-earth players come in, especially so many new faces. So thank you very much for coming, and we'd love to have you again. There's lots of awards.
It's true, there were many of them going to deserving people. Some beautiful artwork on offer, like here by Callum Edens, by Robert Gray, and by Reese. Amazing stuff. And to be honest, loads of people put in so much effort, so I think everyone deserves a round of applause. So there you go, a whistle-stop tour of just one of the many events in the Great British Hobbit League happening this year. Of course, it's been a year like no other, so there haven't really been many events in the last 6 months, but there are so many on the way and so many ways in which to be able to play over the tabletop and meet new people, have a few beds on a Saturday night if that's what you're into, or just to roll dice and meet people who enjoy Middle-earth strategy battle game as much as you or I. And honestly, it's so much fun. World Champion organised this tournament and it was a great one, but there are so many spread across the country, from the very south coast in places like Reading all the way up to Scotland and across in Northern Ireland as well, and of course across Europe and America and Australia too. They're absolutely everywhere. So if you're out there and you've never played a game of SBG, but you know there are people out there, search them out. Desperately search them out. Search for the Great British Hobbit League on Facebook, where you can join a community that thrives off this competition and off sharing images and videos of great ideas or painting jobs or anything, or terrain, things like that. Just join the community, get involved. It's an absolutely wonderful place to be. Obviously, this has touched on a tournament, and there will be more in the Entmoot podcast. If you have a look down below to the SoundCloud link, or you can go on iTunes or many of the other podcast places, you can subscribe to that podcast and hear full in-depth tactical interviews with the people I played against, rather than the sort of headline, as it were, with a few of the early ones, and we'll be able to talk to all of them throughout that podcast as well. And if you really desperately want to get to a tournament and you're watching this in the first week or so that it's published, get yourself down to Lord of the Imps. That's the tournament I'm hosting in Lincoln in July, July the 10th, 2021, and head on down. I've got lots of cool restrictions and lots of thematic ways to help you have an interesting army. There's beer on tap on the evening, there's pizza and a big old SBG quiz on the Saturday night, as well as just being able to meet loads and loads of people who share the same sort of ideas as you. Thanks very much for watching this sort of tournament vlog that I put together. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, boo-a-rum.